Winter meetings have kicked off in Nashville, and everyone, including the San Francisco Giants, are waiting to see what Shohei Ohtani, Yoshinobu Yamamoto, and the other big-ticket free agents will decide when it comes to their next destination. Welcome into another edition of the Kerry Crowley Show, and this time from a different location. I'm coming to you live from my Nashville hotel room, and I'm not actually here for the winter meetings, not covering the winter meetings, but I'm here adjacent to the winter meetings. My day job brought me here. I was over at the Opryland Hotel checking out everything going on with regard to the meetings, seeing all the big-time agents in the hallways, seeing all the big-time national reporters in the hallways, and you can just tell there's an air of mystery until Shohei Ohtani decides on his destination for 2024 and well beyond. It's like the industry is being held up in waiting to see what Ohtani will do, and it's possible that Yoshinobu Yamamoto is the first big domino to fall here in the winter meetings, but nevertheless, everyone is waiting on something big to happen. And so until that happens, kind of seems like everything is in a holding pattern. And over at the Opryland Hotel, it's like nothing I've ever seen before. It's on the outskirts of Nashville. We're talking about a 3,000 room resort. So you've got every single person essentially in the baseball industry, whether it's executives, reporters, agents, scouts, everyone is there meeting and holding, discussions, one-on-one meetings set up, everyone flooding the hotel bar after about 9 o'clock at night. It's an absolute scene. There's fans set up outside of the MLB Network platform watching those shows that are taking place live. And one thing that I do want to do in this brief episode of the Kerry Crowley Show is talk about Farhan Zaidi's comments earlier today on MLB Network and just about the entire spectacle that is winter meetings. And it's been in different destinations before. I had the privilege of covering the winter meetings for the Mercury News and Bay Area News Group for 5 years. And I've done one at the Opryland in Nashville before. I've done one in Vegas. I've done one in San Diego. San Diego, to me, best setup. Small hotel, you're right on the ocean, you're right downtown. It's just incredible. Vegas, I'm not a huge Vegas guy. I don't really gamble. I like hotels that have windows and that you can see outside so you know what type of day it is. And the Opryland is kind of in the middle for me because it's half amusement park, half shopping mall, half hotel, and that's three halves. And really, you just can't even begin to describe how magnificently large this place is. And nevertheless, everywhere you step, you see someone in baseball. I was walking through the hallway today, saw Dave Roberts. He was on his way to go talk about Mookie Betts and playing second base for the Los Angeles Dodgers. I was walking through another hallway, saw Bobby Evans, former general manager, former president of baseball operations for the San Francisco Giants. No, actually, Farhan's the only president of baseball operations the Giants have had. Evans was a general manager. This is all back before title inflation took over the sport. I saw Gregor Blanco, George Contos, broadcasters from all over the industry. It is a who's who of baseball, and at some point, everyone is just waiting for something big to happen. We're all waiting on the Ohtani announcement, a Yamamoto announcement. The San Francisco Giants are among the, 5, 6, 7 teams that are probably realistically interested in both of those players right now. I think that the Giants would love to get Ohtani or Yamamoto. That's no secret. It's no secret that they have the payroll flexibility to do that. And earlier today, Farhan Zaidi was on MLB Network talking about how the Giants are positioned to strike kind of at the top end of the free agent market. And he said much the same we have been in recent off seasons. And of course, we all know what that means. The Giants were playing at the top end of the market last year for Aaron Judge when he decided to go back to New York and sign with the Yankees. They were ready to give Carlos Correa the mega deal, the biggest contract in Giants history, until he failed the medicals on the Giants evaluation. And so it's a point where the Giants know that there's only a handful of free agents who are really, truly franchise-altering, game-changing players who are available, and they're going to be in on all of those guys because, as we've discussed so many times on the Kerry Crowley Show, this is a franchise that tracks in star power. This is a franchise that right now lacks in star power. It is a franchise that has long, hung its hat on being able to market players like a Willie Mays, a Willie McCovey, a Juan Marichal, a Will Clark, a Barry Bonds, a Tim Lincecum, a Buster Posey, a Logan Webb, and it is waiting for the next big-time player who you can say, hey, fans, go buy his jersey. He's going to be here for the next 10 years. He is going to be the next franchise pillar in a long line of greats. There aren't that many franchises with the lineup of legends that the Giants have, particularly in the San Francisco era. And you look at 1958 up until now, and Farhan understands, Greg Johnson, the Giants chairman, he understands that this organization needs to strike. And so it would not shock me at all if the Giants have the highest offers out to a player like Ohtani, to a player like Yamamoto. And it ultimately comes down to, where do these players want to sign? And so all of this is to say, look, I'm not a reporter anymore. I'm not getting the inside scoop anymore. I'm not boots on the ground day to day. I do this show because I love covering Giants baseball, love analyzing what's being said about Giants baseball, and kind of love, discussing it with fans and reading the comments on YouTube and going back and forth with people about what the Giants should do next. And I think that it's interesting because, in the past, you'd always be trying to get a scoop from an agent, get a scoop from someone inside an organization. And when I covered the Farhan Zaidi era San Francisco Giants, it was tough. Like, the front office does not leak. This is a front office that does not give up tidbits of information. So when you see stuff come out, whether it be broken by one of the many great beat reporters that cover the San Francisco Giants or one of the many exceptional national reporters who cover all things with regard to Major League Baseball, when you see a scoop about a player contract, more often than not, that scoop's coming from an agent, because the Giants are pretty airtight. And so it's really impressive to me when you get someone like a Bags or someone like an Alex or a Susan breaking a major story with, relevance to the San Francisco Giants, because it is so hard to kind of infiltrate the walls of the front office. And, the same could be said about the Sabian era Giants and the Bobby Evans Giants, but I think that is particularly true in the pursuit of Ohtani, particularly true in the pursuit of Yamamoto. We're just not going to find a whole lot out, other than the fact that Shohei Ohtani followed Logan Webb on Instagram earlier in the day on Monday. And I know that Ohtani does not follow many people on Instagram, and so that was exciting for many Giants fans. I don't read a whole lot into it. They could have had a positive interaction when the Giants were recruiting Ohtani. Doesn't mean that because Ohtani likes Logan Webb or they developed a quick friendship that he's going to sign in San Francisco. All I took it as, it's an acknowledgement that they might know each other and they might have recently met with each other. And that's a great thing for the San Francisco Giants to be in the game on Ohtani. But again, I've said this from the outset. I don't look at the Giants as the favorites for Ohtani. I don't look at the Giants as the favorites for Yamamoto. They might land one of those players, but I think that when you look at this organization's track record, especially since about 2015, 2016, post Johnny Cueto, Jeff Samardzija, Mark Melancon signings, there just haven't been a lot of big-ticket free agents who've wanted to come to San Francisco. And this is an offseason where Farhan acknowledged it on MLB Network earlier in the day on Monday. They are playing at the top end of the free agent market. What that means, we will ultimately find out. But he also said on MLB Network that the Giants' plan A, or any team's plan A that's playing at the top end of the market, is probably the same plan A that 5 or 6 or 7 other teams are looking at. So you have to be able to pivot. You have to be able to think creatively about what your next move is for the organization. So talked about this as well. If the Giants miss out on those top 2 free agents, is it Blake Snell? Is it Matt Chapman? Is it Jung-Hoo Lee coming over from Korea, who was just posted this week and now has, I believe, 30 days to sign? So maybe January 4th might be the final day that Jung-Hoo Lee, who's a tremendous center fielder coming over from Korea, could sign with a major league team. And so the Giants' pivot options could also include trades. Farhan talked about that on MLB Network. And of course, he's also meeting with the Giants beat reporters on Monday. I was not a part of that, no longer a beat reporter anymore. And so I don't know what was said in those conversations, what was said in those interviews, but I'm sure that it was a little more illuminating on what the Giants are hoping to achieve here this offseason and maybe here in Nashville, because I think a lot of teams came into the week expecting that an Ohtani decision would come down. I know that there's a lot of reporters who were hesitant to get away from the Opryland Hotel, where, let me tell you, I'm someone who wanted to go have a nice dinner in downtown Nashville. I'm someone who wanted to catch up with all my old baseball writer buddies. And let me tell you, they're sitting by their computers. They're sitting on their phones. They're waiting for Ohtani news to break so that they have to write their stories. So I don't think a whole lot's going to be happening here in Nashville this week until or unless Ohtani signs. But the Giants have also, as Farhan indicated, felt like they were close the last few seasons. Maybe not as far away as the 2022 and 2023 records indicate. And look, maybe their team wasn't as good as the 2021 record indicated. But I think that this is an organization that believes a few big moves, a few needle movers, a few kind of impact players joining the organization, whether it be through free agency or through trades, can help this team contend in 2024, which is really, really important moving forward. Because right now, the highest paid player on the books for the San Francisco Giants next season is Mitch Haniger. And to me, if Mitch Haniger is your highest paid player, no disrespect to the Archbishop Mitty legend, the Bay Area kid who did want to come home and sign with the San Francisco Giants, you're probably not making the playoffs if he is your highest paid player. And so I think that the Giants are thinking creatively right now. I think that they've got their plan A. It's probably Ohtani or Yamamoto or a combination of the two. Don't see that happening, especially if I don't see them as the favorites for those two players. But what's most important is that they've got pivot options as well. And I still think, look, they could land one of those players. It could be a franchise-altering week for the San Francisco Giants, which is why I said earlier this week, or actually earlier this month, a few days ago when I recorded my last big podcast, that this could be the most important week of the Farhan Zaidi era in San Francisco, because they could be getting ready to give out a $250, $300 million contract if it's Yamamoto. Could be $550, $600 million if it's Shohei Ohtani, if they get to that point. But I think that so much of this week, so much of the offseason hinges on what these two top free agents decide to do, that it's really hard to glean information to think about anything else until Ohtani decides on his destination, until Yamamoto decides on his destination. So while Ohtani is the biggest free agent in Major League Baseball history, and the Giants absolutely interested in signing him, and now there's the link on Instagram between Ohtani and Logan Webb, I think that there's still just such a tremendous mystery that there's a little bit of an aura over the winter meetings that they can't truly move forward until everyone knows where Ohtani is headed. And so that's the dispatch from day one in Nashville. Try to keep it quick, try to keep it short and sweet, and hope to come back later on this week reporting on big moves that the Giants made, analyzing big moves that the Giants made, because that's what this offseason is all about. I've said it once, I've said it a million times. Bob Melvin, a big step forward for the organization, getting a veteran major league manager in the door who's got a proven track record of winning, but it's step one of 50 in rebuilding the San Francisco Giants, in getting this organization to a place where it can contend in 2024. It's reshaping the roster. That's the most important part. And it's reshaping the top end of the roster, giving Logan Webb another star alongside him to guide the franchise into the future. So that's today's episode of the Kerry Crowley Show. Again, coming to you from my Nashville hotel room, not at the Opryland, but did spend some time over there, and what a scene it is.